So, when did I go vegan? How did I go vegan? Why did I go vegan? Well, those are all good questions. And let me really take you all the way back to how I was raised. So, being Indian, I was raised in a Hindu family, and my mom and my dad were vegetarians already. Now, in India, most of the time, vegetarian means that you're still going to eat dairy products. So my family was big on dairy products growing up, and my parents also happened to eat eggs as well. So that was what's called lacto-ovo vegetarian. And that's how I was raised. And it was okay for quite a while. And then as I became a teenager, I was going through puberty, I started to notice all kinds of things not functioning correctly in my body. I was having intense acne. I just broke out everywhere. And I ended up with really severe cystic acne all over my face and my neck and my upper body, my arms and my back, very severe. And I ended up with scarring. And it was, as much as it scarred me physically, it was horrendous emotionally to have to go through all those life transitions and at the same time just feel so out of place and so ashamed, ashamed of my body and how I looked, and not really having any confidence. And I developed really severe social anxiety and really intense chronic fatigue as well. I was struggling to keep up with normal school activities. Of course, I was putting a ton of pressure on myself because I saw my social identity, my identity in life as being somebody who was good at school. And that was the main thing I clung to, that I had to maintain that. And I was struggling even with that because I was feeling so horrible. But I would just compartmentalize everything else and attempt to focus on that as much as I could, even though physically I was struggling, emotionally I was struggling. So even that was becoming more and more difficult. And so as I went into college, I decided I had to do something, and I started buying every kind of self-help book I could get and just researching online, because thankfully that was about the time that the internet became much more publicly accessible. My last couple of years of high school and then going into college. So I was sitting there in my college dorm room researching all kinds of stuff and just reading whenever I could in between all these classes. And I was taking a ton of classes because, again, I was totally focused on, or I was largely focused on still school, because that's how I got my sense of importance in the world. And that's how I saw myself as going to be successful in the future. And that's the mindset that I grew up with, right? So that all made sense. But again, it was taking me away from the thing that made even more sense, which was to get my health right. And so I put some time into that. And the more I looked into it, the more I realized that I needed to do something. And so I started to put more time into it over the year or two, first year or two of college. And then that second year in college, somewhere around that time, it was actually in the year 2000. So I bought a book called The Peaceful Palate. It was a vegan cookbook. I still remember opening up the first couple of pages, and I still have that book even now. And I saw that they were talking about the farm industry, and I thought, oh, that's interesting. I didn't really know that much about it. And they were talking about the egg
So, what
industry,
does the
how
egg
baby
industry do
chicks were
with all the
even
male
crushed
chicks that are hatched?
or
They are
being like a
killed
waste
within their
product
first
of
day
the
of
egg
life.
industry. And I just couldn't imagine that.
You didn't know,
Even now, it's
did
just
you?
it hurts, and it's awful to even say those words or to think about that. And
Every
the
animal.
dairy industry, baby cows were often murdered and just thrown away because they were some type of extra and a waste or a nuisance or whatever they considered them to be. And I just never knew about that. I just couldn't tolerate that. So right there, I decided that I was not going to consume these products anymore. And I also hadn't heard that these things could potentially be harming your health, because I was studying like liver cleansing and other things, because I read that acne was really caused by congested colon and liver and organs and all kinds of stuff running amok and hormones becoming imbalanced. And but really, it was more so for the animals than anything, that I said, I'm not going to consume dairy anymore. I'm not going to consume eggs anymore. And of course, eggs were a lot more. Um, they were a lot less controversial and a lot more known for health promotion and benefits, like health promoting benefits, like protein and the egg whites being a good source of protein, and even the egg yolks having cholesterol, which was thought to be important and necessary by many people, especially back then for hormones, because that is a key ingredient in how the body produces hormones. But I didn't know that the liver produces its own cholesterol, and some of these things I just didn't know back then. So I was scared, and my parents were scared. But at the same time, I knew that there were, even back then, there were lots of people that had been vegan and were going vegan, and it was, while there was a lot less support than there is now, it still was a difficult thing. And I, be totally open, I did still struggle with chronic fatigue for many, many years, and it still has been, a long health journey. But I saw, within that first year, I saw a lot of benefits for my skin and my overall balance, especially from removing dairy. And then it's just been this journey. I mean, life really is a journey, and no matter how far you get here, and you feel like you've achieved so much, and you have, and and I had a long journey to go, and I'm still on that journey. So still working on health issues, and but I'm doing much better, thankfully. And I, more than anything, it's been great to become an example of what is possible with a vegan lifestyle, because I don't just consider it the nutritional part, even though that's a big part. And the more whole foods and more whole foods you go, um, the fewer health issues you're going to have. Many people on the path are consuming lots of junk foods, and that's part of the path. I mean, it's often part of transitioning away from that, and your body asking for more and more whole types of foods. Not that I'm perfect or anybody's perfect, but it's been it's been an amazing journey. So um, my body mostly asks me for good stuff now, and that's what I give it. And it still is amazing that many people don't really know much about what it's like to live on a vegan nutritional plan or a vegan lifestyle. But even just sticking with the nutrition, people still commonly ask, "Hey, where do you get your protein?" And it's just because it's such a mindset, especially in the United States, of that there are these certain protein foods like meat, like eggs, like dairy. These are protein foods because they have higher amounts of protein. And usually, what's considered a protein food is going to be an animal food, because that is the cultural mindset. And I don't blame anybody for having that mindset. It's just that it is a mindset, it is something that people are raised with, it is a belief system. And until they start to realize that there is protein in really everything, there's some amount of protein in fruit. So there are people who are fruitarians, and I was eating tons of fruit, and I was largely fruitarian for a few years, and I found that that wasn't as balanced an approach as I wanted to take. But when you're getting beans, you're getting nuts, you're getting seeds, you're getting legumes, you're getting um, soy foods, like the healthier versions of those foods, like a tempeh, like an organic tofu, even other things like sprouts and nutritional yeast. And there's certain amounts of protein and certain kinds of mushrooms, and spirulina and chlorella, and there's so many different products out there. And then of course you can get your more fractionated products like an organic pea protein or rice protein or whatever to add into that if you wanted to. And I know that's not a whole food, but it's still for me, I find it helpful as part of an overall more convenient nutritional plan. But you can get various nutrients from all kinds of different sources, even the foods that have less protein. Um, for example, sometimes I'll have some organic amaranth, and I have organic quinoa, and some of those foods that are what they consider like pseudo grains. Those are great sources of protein too. And I've realized you don't need nearly as much protein as, again, this standard American mindset is. And it depends on your goals. For some goals, you will need some more, but it's doable. It's doable to get what you need. And there are so many great examples out there of people who are doing all kinds of endurance training. They're doing heavy weights in the gym. Some even bodybuilders out there. Some are just weekend warriors like me, and I'm just looking to stay fit. Although I'm curious about what other goals I could set fitness wise. So there are definitely some mindset issues now, and but having been vegan this long, The biggest thing for me is that I have a lot more compassion for others who are interested in the path and are struggling on the path, or even I should say, and even the people that are totally anti-vegan, like they're like carnivore diet, they're totally not open to hearing about vegan. Even the I know the word vegan even sounds weird, so it's not like it's the best marketing, even the word, but um, I just have compassion for people in general, and that's really important to remember. That vegan is about this path is about kindness, and it's about so it's important to remember that so that we can be kind to even the people that completely don't see any benefit to it. Hardcore keto, carnivore, whatever, and realize that they often have something to teach us too. I've actually ended up learning quite a bit about nutrition from the keto crowd and even some things from the carnivore crowd and some things I didn't realize about the body and just insights, even if the overall perspective hasn't changed, that a plant-based approach is the healthiest way. And I still absolutely believe that. And that's why I live this way. And I encourage other people to as well. But it's amazing what you can learn when you open your mind and we all come together, and even if we have opposite points of view, we can often learn from each other. So as someone who's watching this video and you're on the path, please remember that, and let's not become these militant vegans. That's what the movement has become. At least at one point it was known for it. These like really angry vegans, and it's I don't think it's helpful. I don't think it's definitely not helpful for the person who's angry, because it's very harmful to your body to maintain that kind of anger in yourself. And it's not helpful to anybody else really, because then they don't see you as approachable, and then they don't learn from you, and then they just can easily compartmentalize. They can push away the whole movement and say, well, those people are crazy. Those people are, they don't they're not what I want to become. So I'm not going to even go down that path. So I think it's great whenever I can inspire somebody. And if there's anything I can do for you, please feel free to reach out. Happy to answer questions. It's hard to believe it's been 23 years and counting, and it's really humbling actually. And I'm just happy to be continuing to improve. Did I want to see progress faster and heal all my issues and all that? Yeah, for sure. I wish I could have done some of the things I'm even working on now. I wish I could have learned 20 years ago, but that's part of the journey. That's life. And if there's anything I can do to help you on your path to go faster, to be happier, to be healthier, to be more joyful, to find your purpose, not just in living some kind of pure vegetarian, vegan life. I mean, ultimately, you want to find your own path in life, your own purpose in life, what you feel is joyful for you, and you're able to express your gifts in the world so that you can have that amazing life that you are looking forward to and working towards. So, with that, I wish you well and feel free to reach out. All right. Thanks.